think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wanted to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, it's another great day, man. And I know we got some more boxing. We in between boxing. Been a pause in the fight. I was watching the fights. It stopped about an hour ago. A little less than an hour ago, maybe. But being here on the East Coast in Baltimore, the next card from the Puerto Rican sensation, Oscar Collazo, is not going to start till 8 o'clock. And I said that I wasn't going to do anything until tomorrow or Monday. But I talked to my co-defendant. And we got something lined up, man. Right in the vein of the 140 division. The thumbnail's already done. And we got something special coming tomorrow. We done already chopped it up. Bounced the ideas back and forth. And I believe that you're in for a treat. You know what I mean? But in typical Bodywork Cookie Monster, salute Cookie Monster, in typical Bodywork devastating fashion, something came across my feed. You know, and I always pride myself as being one of them channels in which I do have favorite fighters, right? But if my favorite fighters ain't got nothing going on, I'm not gonna blow no smoke up your ass. How about that? You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna ride. And lately, man, I've been I'm not gonna lie, man, I've kind of been enjoying boxing. Like, I've really been enjoying boxing lately. And you know, if you ask me why, Mike, if you listen, I'm gonna tell you, right? You got to know a little bit of the history about Bodywork, right? Like, originally, I was one of them guys that I had my favorite channel that I went to, somebody that I don't necessarily agree with. I mean, I respect his skills, his character, all of that, but like, it came to a point to where we stopped agreeing on a lot of things. See, as long as we like, I'll go down to like 65-35. I will go down to 65-35. Like, if I'm one of them people, right, and I'm in your chat and we 65-35, I'll keep coming back. If we're less than that, I'm only going to come back when I think that your opinions on a certain fight or a certain fighter are relevant. Otherwise, I'm going to pop smoke. So you got to realize the origin of my channel. I did not set off to go, when I got out on YouTube, to say, hey, I'm going to start my own channel. I'm going to take over. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. I never set off to do any of that. Cookie Monster say, mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding crystal clear. Like you ready for the big screen. Salute. Yeah, I'm ready, man. I stay ready, so I don't have to get ready. You know what I'm saying? But The origins of Bodywork was that Bodywork never set off to have his own channel. Bodywork never set off to be a media darling, social media darling, a YouTube superstar. Guess what? I was complacent with being one of the people in the comment section, just listening around and just being part of the go along, get along game, in the aspect of where as long as you cooking, I'm in the comment section, super chatting, supporting, doing what I do, right? It wasn't until I said, you know what, there might be a lane for Bodywork. Why? Because every now and again there's a spot, there's a lane, there's a place where you can get in where you fit in, where it's like, no, I see where this is going. You getting too political, cuz. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you are eating a little bit too much eggplant over there on this. And so when I started saying, you know what, I've been following boxing so much that I could probably have my own voice, my own lane. I don't step into other people's lane. You know what I'm saying? So that was my whole MO for my inception into the game. So when I see and hear people doing shit and talking and, you know, covering down and being what they not, I say that it is lame. So I said, man, listen, silence is consent. That's the MO. And when I put this out there and I be myself and I just keep going along, then I'm going to change the game. And that's what I did. I feel like, man, I'm never going to be the Drake of this shit. I'm content with being a Lloyd Banks of this shit. Because why? I could really walk away from this shit and be okay with this shit. But I got so much love for this shit that I still put my time, effort, energy into the game. So yeah, lately I've been content because I found a couple channels. I started being more active in a couple other channels and finding myself back into the mode where I used to be, to where I'm telling y'all, man, when it come down to making content and delivering a message and, you know, being a voice for a certain demographic, because I know my niche market. You know what I'm saying? I don't step on toes. I don't veer off in other lanes. I know what I bring to the game. And I said, listen, I'm going to be content with what that is. But here lately, man, I've been more active in chance. And then I told my lady, I said, man, I'm going to show people that I can play well with others. And I always say this, and then anybody can actually produce receipts, but anybody that got a beef with me or a personal thing that they got with me, whatever, they can never show you where I did them wrong. They can never show you where I really disrespected them. They can never show you to where it was Bodywork's fault to why we ain't got a relationship no more. And so that kind of closed me off. That kind of changed my mindset. And I said, you know what, man, I don't give a fuck about none of them. Why? Because I know that in my heart's heart, like the man that I am and having integrity, that I'm never going to do anything to where you can even point no fingers at me. I'll produce for you. I'll come up with concepts for you. I'll feed and cater. But when you start getting, you know, when people start biting the hand that feeds them and people start doing snaky shit like making phone calls and telling people dumb shit about you that I don't even care. I don't even have the energy to defend it. So I said, I'll let it go. I'm just going to do my own thing and I'm rocking out. And I've never stopped gaining subscribers. I've never had to become part of some organization or some big ass group where I just come in and say, hey, hi, blah, 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 and just take people members and all. I've never been a part of that. But here lately, I have gotten back to a place to where if I don't want to do no content, because I'm not a consistent, like, as far as I believe in quality, not quantity. So I'm never going to be one of the people that just come out just to be coming out. I'm never going to be one of these guys that just going to keep doing whatever and just putting out whatever. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I believe in quality, not quantity. That's why I talk about the McDonald's of the world, the 7-Elevens of the world. It's like, yeah, you can go there, but you're not going to get nothing, no nutritional value. That's why I would say this is fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. This is fact-based content, not opinion based, even though we have our own opinion. And so lately, a lot of the times when I say, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back. I'm not gonna do no content. Why? Because I only do shit that's relevant. If my favorite fighters have faded to black, I don't. What I'm gonna talk about? Like the guys that I rock with in the sport, yeah, I can talk about the sport, but that's not popular opinion. It's not gonna get no views. It's not gonna get no traction. If it's something that needs to be said, I'm gonna get out here and do a video. I'm gonna put it together. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do whatever. But I can easily create sensational thumbnails and, you know, do contents and gaslight people and have like, man, my shit'll be jumping like Jordan. But that's not where I'm at in life. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the younger me might have been down with it, but the older me, the more mature me, the people that went through, like the man that went through lessons and, you know, got taught some things, the people, the man that no longer wants to plant any negative seeds because karma is the real thing. That's me. So lately, I've just been content with just being a part of like other people's chats, like helping, you know what I'm saying, to keep the conversation going on the other people's chats. And when it's genuine, when the energy is pure, whatever, that's all I need. I don't gotta be the spokesperson. I don't gotta be the person that's putting out the content. I don't gotta be the person that everybody come to and blah, hey, blah, blah, blah. So when I'm out and about, man, if you know me and you rock with me, I'm gonna put out because I don't have no real housekeeping for this episode, but I'm gonna put out a disclaimer. So if you hear the sound of my voice, know that this applies to you, right? I do go to other channels. And if you see me on a regular basis, that means that I rock with you. But one of the things that I don't do, and I don't want it to get misconstrued like I'm being rude or, you know, whatever. But one of the things that I don't do is like, when I go on somebody else's channel, I don't ever want to make it all about me. So sometimes I'll go in. So if you ever get a cash app, a super chat, if you ever see me in there and you hear like, and you see Michael Rogers, because I come on here, I don't have to get in character to do this content. If I come in there and or if you get a super chat, a cash app, and it's from Michael Rogers, that's because I don't want it to be Bodywork. Why? And a lot of times, sometimes it's not because I'm rude, you know, because there's a lot of people that I fuck with, you know what I'm saying? But when I'm on somebody else's channel, I don't want nobody to think that I'm trying to consume their channel. I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm trying to like make it all about me. So sometimes I'll be in there under Michael Rogers. Sometimes I'll be in there under Bodywork. Sometimes I'll refrain from getting on a panel because I don't want them to think that, hey, I'm trying to, no, that's my part of like me, because at the end of the day, I'm a fan first. When it comes to this boxing shit, I'm a fan first. I started off in the stand. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not a stand. I'm just a man with a plan who started doing content, and now I understand that I got a lane and I got a niche market that I got to feed on a regular basis. Why? Because they be having a need for that real shit. That's why I get online and I spill shit. And that's real shit. That's all it really is, man. So if I ever come in, man, and it seemed like, you know, because I rock with who rock with me. I don't change. Like if I see you over here and you're on this person's channel and I see you, I rock with you. If I see you on this other person's channel and you see me in the comment section, I rock with you. But I don't ever want anybody to think that if I jump in the comment section and you see Bodywork, that I'm trying to make it all about me, because I know it's people out here that do that. They'll come out and they'll just be advertising and trying to campaign and trying to do. I don't do that. So out of respect for the show or whatever, I come in, I say salute to the panel, salute to the chat, you know what I'm saying, salute to the host, and then that be that. That don't mean that I'm avoiding you. That don't mean that I'm acting different. That just means that I don't want you to think that I'm coming in there trying to make it be about me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't ever want nobody to think that, because I can support. You know what I'm saying? Like, oftentimes, you know, this is something I learned from the Army. In order to be a good leader, sometimes you got to be a good follower. I could play both roles. Depending on what you're doing or whatever, I'll follow. And I think a lot of strong men have realized that, like, you know what I'm saying? Because the area that we're in, they all be thinking that everybody be on this more cheese stuff. The way I'm the head, You know what I'm saying? And this, and it's all about me, and it's about submission, it's about this and this and that. It's not all about that. I'm a natural born leader, but I don't always have to impose leadership. And a lot of times, if you are going in the direction that you need to be going, I'll be content with standing in the background and just being on the like just following along, just supporting, just because we need that. You know what I'm saying? As long as the message is conducive to what the sport of boxing needs, I'm with that. So I'll play the background. So if I ever come over, man, and I frequent the channel and I don't say salute to everybody, every single solitary person, it's not out of disrespect. It's because I don't want the show to be about me. I don't ever want nobody to think that, oh man, this is all he's doing and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm willing to support. Why? Because making content is a struggle. Having a voice is a struggle, right? Saying what nobody else wants to hear, but is the truth, and you saying it loud and clear, that's a struggle. So I'm not going to stop doing me, but I don't ever want anybody out here to think that I'm trying to overshadow and fringe or whatever. So just know that, man. I don't have no real housekeeping for today, but in a sense, that is housekeeping. You know what I'm saying? It's something that people need to know, because I've been a part of so many different channels, man. Even before I started my own thing, I was super chatting and being in a congregation, and you know what I'm saying. But then it came to a point to where it's like, I don't know. And so here lately, it's like, one, for the most part, we go on every other day, right? Whether we start on a Monday, we start on a Sunday, that's gonna dictate, you know what I'm saying? Because we like to give stuff time to breathe. You know what I'm saying? We're not knee-jerk reactionists. We're not just gonna get out here and just pop out and just be like, no, we try to like process everything, and we're working on a long-term, a big picture type thing, not a short-term knee-jerk reactionist type thing. So sometimes we gotta let the beat build. We got to see what's going on. We got to put the pieces all together, man, so we can see the big picture. And that's really what we do. So sometimes, man, I'll sit back, but like here lately, it's almost like I've been spoiled, man. I've been going over to my man Crush channel, right? It's nobody like Crush, man. Crush needs to be one of the biggest channels on YouTube. He don't get the support that he deserves, you know, but he deserves it. He got a unique voice, a unique style. He's raw, rugged, real. And he gonna let you have it if he need to give it to you. I've been going over the Cam J Network. He has a different audience, you know what I'm saying, to where everybody's not just for one fighter, you know what I'm saying. You got different fighters. Some of the major players, you got a splinter of different people, but they feel comfortable enough to give their opinion. You know, and he sets that water cooler talk environment without bias, for real. You know what I'm saying? And I resonate with that. The minute I see that you playing politics, the minute I see that you playing games, the minute I see that you just on some bullshit, I'm off with it. Why? Because our sport is so sensitive that we can't tolerate that. So here lately, when I'm not doing content, you might find me in the comment section. You might find me in a panel somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful that, hey, it's a lot of other people that love boxing just as much as me, that are opinionated just as much as me, but they are educated in the facts of boxing just as much as me. And they're not moved by any political agenda just as much as me. You know what I'm saying? Because normally I would have walked away. Like right now with the state of boxing and how the media has boxing by the cojones, because I always say, he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of this age. Which means that the conqueror, the one who has all the power, yeah, they're going to get you to think what they want you to think. Just like I said the other day when I said, we know that Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, but that's not stopping them from teaching our sons and daughters the same shit. Years and years and years after we know that not to be the truth. Why? They have an agenda. They are the conquerors. It's no different in boxing. So that's my public service announcement, man. I always tell people you can't gaslight me because I'm already lit. And if I had a housekeeping, that's what it would have been. So this is not gonna be a long live, but I did want to come out here and put a stake in the ground for this because this is what I've been waiting for. And like I said, I'm not one of the people that, even though I'm a Tank fan, even though I'm a Jamel fan, even though I'm a Spence fan, that I'm just gonna come out and do content about these guys just because. Like, no, they got to do something or say something or be active, and that's what actually caused this live. You know what I'm saying? So I know we in between fights. We got about 53 minutes before the next set of fights come on according to my timeline, and I just wanted to put this out here so that people can come back and, you know, this is a benchmark, and it might not get a lot of views, you know what I'm saying, but that's not my thing. My whole thing is about putting a stake in the ground so that when people be gaslighting, you can say, no, go back into this video, look at what this man was saying in real time. It's a guy, man, and I'm always going to honor this guy. It was a guy named Steve, I think his name was Wood, Stay Real TV. He was from Baltimore, and I never got the chance to experience him. You know what I'm saying? Like being his live or really kick it with him. But this man was stating nothing but facts. And he was going against a big faction. He was going against the LDBC, and he was spitting out a lot of truth. And when I got onto him, right, I'm like, man, why this guy don't get the traction that he deserves? Why is nobody supporting this guy? You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. And by the time I really realized it, right, I had been on to him for 6 months, and then it was like a gap in the time when I started seeing him do videos. And next thing you know, the man had passed. And he never got his, you know, they call it flowers. As a man, I tend to call it salutes. He never got a salute. And me and him were in the same line of where it's like, look, man, I could easily get on board with these guys and do content that cater to what these guys are saying and be part of the get along gang. But I'm not going to do that. You know, I'd rather be the salmon swimming upstream at the risk of being caught than being somebody that's going to run off the bridge like everybody else because it's popular thought. I'm not going to do it. So I said, man, one of the things that I do in honor of him is that I'm never going to compromise. I don't give a fuck if it's 1 view, 2 views, 3 views. I don't give a fuck if it's 5 people in the live. I'm still going to spit that hot shit because there's some hot shit in these mitts. You know, that's what I'm going to do. Salute the honeybee. Salute Bodywork. Salute chat. Salute Real Talk by Honeybee. And subscribe to Real Talk by Honeybee, man. It be some very interesting conversations that Honeybee be having, and the sayings and the terminology and the way that she put things, man, is just so unique that I think that is worthy to be witnessed. You know what I'm saying? Like, comment, subscribe, support. You know what I'm saying? She be doing her thing. For real. I be impressed. I be laughing. I be giggling. And I'm like, hey, she might step on some toes every now and again, but real recognize real, and real is what's needed in today's sport. But with no further ado, man, that's my housekeeping, man. I just came across something where I seen my main Apple Scrapple, Tank Davis. He was out here checking temperatures. And I said, man, I got to come out here and talk about this. But before I do that, I do want to clarify something else. I do want to clarify this one thing, man, because my man, I did a video the other day, and inside of it, I went back. I turned back the hands of time, and I talked about top shot to them at 140, right? And I was saying, man, you know, Gary Antoine Russell, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. He's the top shot at 140. You can say what you want. accolade, blah blah blah. But like people were talking about the reason why Shakur fought T.O. is because he was the most accoladed up. You know what I'm saying? It was all about accolades. It was like, okay, if I beat him, then I'm gonna get the accolade of being able to do this. But going into that fight, everybody knew that Gary Antoine Russell was the most dangerous fighter in that division. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? 40 caliber provides greater stopping power and can penetrate obstacles more effectively. And I want y'all to understand something about Gary Antoine Russell. He was the valedictorian of his class. Think about that. He's a boxer. He gets hit in the head for a living. He comes from a boxing lineage. He was the smartest guy. The guy who was valedictorian in his class when he graduated. So he's not one of these dumb boxers, because a lot of people, because their accent or whatever, they equate intelligence with the fact that they box and they don't know no better. And it's like same way they just trying to tell LeBron shut up and dribble. It's like they be trying to tell some of these boxers to shut up and box. Even with Tank, they be trying to like insult his intelligence because his accent is a certain way or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But like in your skill, in your craft, you gotta be intelligent to be able to do some of the things that these guys are doing. And Gary Antoine Russell, outside of the ring, he's already demonstrated before you even known him as a professional that in his personal life, you can't be the valedictorian. Think about it, the valedictorian of your class and not have no smarts. So he's a triple threat for real, for real. He got the legacy of being a fighting Russell, right? He has the skill to pay the bills, the physical abilities in the ring, because he has one of the highest knockout rates in boxing, and he's been at 40. He didn't suck down at 35 and weight bully and do all this. No, he's been there. And even though Richardson Hitchens is not on my good side, same thing with Richardson Hitchens. He came into a weight class, been dominating and tenured in his weight class, and he's been doing what he needed to do in his weight class. Yes, he had a slip up, got edged out by Puello, who's an excellent boxer. He's like Liam Nielsen. He has a superb set of skills, so to speak. But he's very smart. But there's this misnomer. Before I get into the Tank thing, I want to address this because I've heard this a couple times, and I want to nip this shit in the bud about Gary Antoine Russell. I'm very high on the Russells. Like being born in DC, being raised in PG County, and then living in Baltimore, that means that I have love for everybody from the DMV and Baltimore, right? So being from Landover, Maryland, like being raised, I was born in DC, raised in Suitland in my early life, raised in Landover, Maryland, and my later life going all the way up until I graduated and went to the Army. But then coming out of the Army, going down to South Carolina, and then coming back up here about 8, 9, 10 years ago, coming back up to Baltimore, I got love for all of them. So I represent them all the same. So whenever it come down to the Russells and Tank, hey, I'm just happy for all of them. You'll never get me to pick a side. I got love for all of them. Y'all know who my top guys. The top guys are the Russells, Tank, people from the DMV. But I do not show bias towards these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like when the shit happened with Lamar and Tank, I said what it was. When the shit happened with Gary Antoine Russell and Alberto Puello, I said what it was. Go back and check my track record. I don't eat eggplant. But I'm sure if you've been listening to me for any extended period of time, you will know that. But when it comes down to Gary Antoine Russell, there is a misnomer that because he said what he said, that for some reason he don't really want that Shakur smoke. That could not be further from the truth. But because people tend to pick and choose when they want to align themselves with other people, right? They'll pick and choose to be in a vein that makes it seem like they're not being biased, but they know that the things that they are saying are catering to somebody that's on the opposite end. So it's like, I'm keeping it real, but in essence, you're doing what they call virtual signaling. You're virtually signaling that you're part of this over there. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't come across that way, since it's not that popular, then you're not going to get the traction. You're not going to get the likes, the clicks, the views that will come along with you just staying firm in the stance that you're in. So I want to clarify something with this Shakur and Gary Antoine thing before I get into the fact that Tank Davis just checked Shakur Stevenson's temperature. So allow me to do that, and I promise you I'm not going to waste a lot of your time, but I am going to put this down. But Gary Antoine Russell is the top shot to them. And I want to say this. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use purposes, such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair. That's all I ever try to do. When it comes down to boxing conversations, to tip the balance in favor of fair. So there was something that actually happened, and I actually want to go over it, and I want to break it down so that people actually really know, because this is getting misconstrued. And I don't want no virtual signaling going on. I want people to actually be real and truthful, you know what I'm saying? And let's break it down, because it needs to be done. And nobody, since PBC a lot of times don't have anybody that's really an advocate for them, it takes for YouTube content creators to really be all right, yeah, it takes for YouTube content creators to actually be the ones that come out and clarify this. And I'm not on no political stuff. It'll be easy for me to be a sensationalist, come up with a crazy thumbnail, and just ride the bandwagon like everybody else. Like, no, I'll always be that salmon swimming upstream that's gonna say what needs to be said when it needs to be said. Not in hindsight, because I always tell y'all, hindsight is 2020. But I got something for y'all. I want y'all to listen to this, and I'm gonna break it down. But let's break down right now before I get into the Tank and Shakur thing and how Tank just checked this man's temperature. I'm going to address the Gary Antoine Russell thing in the bigger picture as to how a lot of these guys who've been maneuvering the way they've been maneuvering, they are trapped. And I'm gonna point this out. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna let y'all know all of the facts. But check this out. Check this out. And I find it ironic because I said that the PBC needed somebody that's gonna come out and speak for them and talk to the things, because just like Ring Magazine, just like Pro Box, just like these other factions, certain, they'll have something from Top Rank come out, or like Eddie will come out, and it's no hub or no consistent faction that comes out and defend these guys from the PBC. And it allows these guys from these different entities to come out and basically say whatever they want about the guy from the PBC. And not until they got a fight coming up or they book an interview with somebody where their side of the story get told. But until then, they get slandered. And I want to break this down because this is a slightly older video. This is not recent, but it's ironic how after I came out about the PBC needing to do something, that this video resurfaced. Think about it, read between the lines. But this video just resurfaced. I'm like, it's kind of ironic that this video just resurfaced. Like, he just...
All right, Sean Patel here with the undefeated WBA super lightweight champion of the world, my man Gary Antoine Russell. Gary,
yours truly, Gary Antoine Russell, WBA champion, 140 division. Y'all heard it first. How y'all doing?
Having a good time in Vegas for the Benavidez fight?
Man, yeah. So far, I'm spreading my wing.
He was in Vegas, and this was during the Benavidez fight. Think about this. When did that Benavidez fight Zerto? Okay, that's the first piece of the puzzle. This came out when he was in Vegas for the Benavidez fight. Okay, go back and look at the date of when David fought Zerto. That was Cinco de Mayo. Hello, it's June the 20th. So Cinco de Mayo. He put this back out. He chopped it and put it back out after I did that PBC shit, right? But this is leading up to Cinco de Mayo, the week of Benavidez fighting Zerto. Keep that in mind, y'all. So it's ironic that a guy that's part of the Shakur, like Sean Zattel, will put this out this past week. Y'all don't hear me though. It's only 7 minutes.
Hopefully I'm wishing I can run into Teofimo Lopez or somebody else in the 140 division, because at this point I'm wondering why these guys are running from me. Either you scared of me or you just trying your best to stay away from me. Either or, it's all love.
He being political. Listen, he was straight up and down saying, hey, you either running or you scared or whatever. Either way, it's all love. Like, listen, it ain't personal, it's just business. Why y'all not talking about me? That's a legitimate gripe. Why? He's the most tenured guy at 140. Now that Richardson Hitchens is signed and said, hey, I'm going to 147. Gary Antoine Russell is the most tenured guy. We said he wasn't the most accomplished like Tio because of the accolades, but he was the most dangerous, and now he's the most tenured guy at 140. Ain't nobody calling him out.
Let it be known, because one thing I don't want to happen is the people that throw dirt on the Russell family name and legacy. Like the Russell family, we a staple to the boxing industry, period. You know, but I'm here for David Benavidez and seeing whatever talent that's there that's going to be on the card. You know, so I'm just here to enjoy myself. But I do got some things that I want to deal with while I'm here.
Who's on the radar alongside Teofimo, man?
Other than Teofimo, he got to win this belt, this vacant IBF belt. If he can get that IBF belt, like I've always been telling everybody, I'm looking to unify. I'm trying to be undisputed. I'm shooting to be undisputed.
So that's why it's on my intro when it comes down to Gary Antoine Russell. He said the goal, if you go back to my intro, with every intro, since I remixed my intro, he said the title is to have order the titles, order the belts. So it don't matter who has them. That's why he qualified it by saying if T.O. gets that IBF, right? Okay, cool. He's not worried about the names, y'all. Think that go over a lot of people's head. He on some Earl Spence shit. It didn't matter if it was Ugas, Pacquiao, Bud, Kell Brook. It didn't matter. Keith Thurman. It didn't matter who had the belts. He wanted to be undisputed. Gary Antoine Russell wants to be undisputed. So it don't matter who got the belts. It's what y'all gotta understand. Keep that in mind.
Speaking into existence, I believe in my talent. A lot of these guys, for real, they're trash. You know, Teofimo, he gave back to the boxing community. He's good. Can't fuck with me. Richard, he's good. Can't fuck with me.
Now he's saying Richards and Hitchens, so people don't pick up this. He's saying Richards and Hitchens, but this is pre-announcement that Richards and Hitchens went over to Zuffa, y'all. This is a dated video, so I'm asking y'all, when the media be playing y'all dumbass niggas, this is how they be playing y'all. They put out a video, right? But they'll highlight some shit that was already said. This shit was said before Benavidez fought Zerto. Why is it resurfacing now in a clip and people are using that on some dumb shit to paint whatever narrative they want to paint? So he said Richards and Hitchens, but guess what we know about Richards and Hitchens over there, Zuffa? He's off the table. This is how dated this is. This was before Cinco de Mayo, slightly before Cinco de Mayo, when they was out there for the Benavidez fight. So it had to be that weekend leading up to it. Keep that in mind.
Who else? Shakur Stevenson, he's good. He got his credentials. But me personally, can't fuck with him.
He looked right into the camera, y'all. Look at him. He's good, but he can't fuck with me. How does he know that? Because Shakur used to come down there to the Russells. He used to spar with them. He used to come down to Capitol Heights. He used to spar with them guys. And not only did he not share the ring with Mr. Gary Antoine, he shared the ring with him, right? But he was in the same division as Mr. Gary Antoine, Mr. Gary Russell, right? Duck right up past that smoke. And y'all know Mr. Gary Russell, you might have your doubts about Gary Antoine. I don't know how, because he's a killer. He's been a boogeyman for years. You might have your doubts about Gary Antoine and say, oh, he need to prove him, blah, 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 whatever you want to put. There's only two people that survived Mr. Gary Antoine Russell, but I'm not going to talk about that. Two people survived Gary Antoine Russell. That's it. Got one of the highest knockout ratios in the game, and he didn't come down into the division and suck down a 35 and starve himself for 2 days and weight bully and do all that. No, he came into 140. He's not the biggest guy in the world, and he has an amateur pedigree to where he beat Boots more time than Boots beat him. Eureka. He's the goods. But Shakur shared the same division, just like he shared the same division as O'Shaquie Foster. When O'Shaquie was his mandatory, but Gary, he reigned in the same division, 126, where Mr. Gary Russell Jr. reigned for 6 years, 352 days, and he slid right up past that smoke. He slid right up past that O'Shaquie smoke. That's why I know people be on some bullshit when they be trying to say, oh, why? So O'Shaquie, who is he? It's like, no, O'Shaquie was that man mandatory before. He slid right up past that smoke. But Gary Antoine knows, he said, listen, he can't fuck with me. Why? He shared the ring with him. Them guys, Shakur used to come down there and spar that guy. And you've never heard Shakur Stevenson come out and say nothing sideways about Gary Antoine Russell. I wonder why. And y'all want to say, oh, he's so respectful, whatever. Well, why did he disrespect O'Shaquie like that then? If he's so disrespectful, why didn't he disrespect Gary Antoine Russell? Because he know better. And it's a track rig. It's videos out here. We can go back to some of my old videos. I ain't gonna do that to y'all. But let's continue.
I'll tell you, I'm just that nice. It's just not me just pumping myself up or just talking trash. It's just what it is. If they feel some type of way, tell them shoot their shot. Tell them come back at me.
Exactly. If you feel some kind of way about the shit that he was saying, he didn't say nothing totally disrespectful. Tell them come at me. If I'm saying something wrong, then get at me in the ring, basically.
You know, so everybody that got a title at the 140 division, y'all better watch out because I'm coming.
Wasn't name specific. If you got a title, because he's truly about undisputed. If you're a pure boxing head, you have to concede to the fact of what Gary Antoine Russell is saying. Regardless of his fighting style, regardless if you high on him, regardless if you low on him, you got to respect that Earl Spence energy to where it didn't matter who had the belt. He wants undisputed. It don't matter. It's not about just Shakur. Before people get this all misconstrued, it's not just about him. It's whoever has the belts.
What did you think of the boxing fans talking after you beat Andy Hiroka, and they're like, why is he saying let the Shakur fight build up? Why not want that smoke ASAP as soon as humanly possible?
Let's be real. As a show business, it's a show side and it's a business side. When you're dealing with promotions, you gotta let time for the promotion part or the promotion aspect to help the fight be more than what it is. You know, it need to build up so everybody can tune in. Right now, I feel like it's too soon to hop on a fight like that. It's not no fear. It's not because I feel like I wouldn't be prepared or anything like that. That's never the case.
That's never the case. Them guys stay ready so they don't have to get ready. But he's talking about because you'll hear Shakur only fans come out here and they'll just be, oh man, it's the business. Oh, the powers that be. It's this and that. But when somebody like this, they'll use what he's saying right now against him, and he's being logical. Why? Because he know that Shakur right now, let's be honest, man, the way Shakur is acting right now, he acting like a prima donna. He said, oh, well, I gotta fight him. I run this. What I do? Why I gotta do blah, blah, blah. Why I gotta do this. Like, he's using the business to boxing to, like, not make the fights that people really want to see. Gary Antoine Russell was saying the same thing.
Always ready. I'm solid right now. You know, so that's not the case. Just on a business tip, I'm just saying, let the fight build up. Let it get some noise and buzz before I take that fight, so we can both have a lump sum on when it comes to the outcome. You know, financial.
It gotta be 4288.
But since that's not happening no time soon, I'm definitely looking forward to get a Dalton Smith when he gets back in good health.
Fighting Alberto Puello.
And let's think about this. I said this a while ago because he did another interview, right? To where when they asked him, who would you want to fight? The man led off by saying that I would fight Shakur Stevenson last. That's all the Shakur only fans needed to hear before they ran off and pranced around in a field full of daisies and lilies saying, oh, we're free. No, dummies. Reason why he said that was because right now, in the way Shakur is acting, if Gary Antoine came out and said, man, fuck Shakur, PPUSSY, they'll say, man, why Shakur? The same way BF was talking about why Devin got to fight Keyshawn right now. Why would he fight him right now? Like, what the fuck you mean? And I've heard that before from BF. But that's what the Shakur only fans would say. Why would he fight Gary Antoine right now? Who was he? He got to get his numbers up. The same way that they're saying, why would Shakur fight O'Shaquie? What would O'Shaquie do for his career? They would treat a tenured guy like Gary Antoine Russell the same way. So he's saying, listen, man, when it come down to the power to be, for me to have any leverage at the table, we got to let the business of boxing sort everything out. So if I got a unification, then I would have 2 belts. Right? If I was able to unify 3 belts, like if T.O. went and got that IBF, I was able to get that strap off Dr. Smith and get that strap off for T.O. If he went for that IBF, I would have 3 straps. He would be in a position that Errol Spence was when Bud had to ultimately come to the table. Why? Because if you say you want undisputed and I got 3 of the straps and you got 1 of them, we got to fight. The media can't do much of your bidding for you because the business of boxing would say, oh, hell, hey, listen, man. This man got 3 straps. You got 1. So that's the vein of what Gary Antoine Russell. And it's sad somebody like myself got to come out here and interpret this shit for you. But he said, listen, I'm ready right now. I will fight this man right now. But it's the business of boxing to where I know my leverage. I know where Shakur is at in the game. And this is what it's going to take for me to get a fight with him. But my goal, just like in my intro, is to have all of the titles, all of the belts.
Right. That fight was canceled.
Oh,
so now that fight is canceled, Dalton Smith, you need to come holler at me. I'm calling out Dalton Smith. If I can get any of them right now, I'm calling out Dalton Smith. I come over to UK to whoop on that guy. And I take that belt immediately.
And you gotta love that. The same way people praise Devin Haney for going over to Australia twice, 24 rounds against Kambosos. He's saying the same thing. I'll go over to UK to whoop that ass. And it's pretty cool to me because even though I think Puello beat Subriel Matias, and Subriel Matias is one of my guys. You know what I'm saying? Even though he did that, I think Subriel Matias lost that fight against Puello. But Dalton Smith pulled some funny shit. And I always highlight this. A week after Dalton Smith said, hey, I would love to fight Shakur, and Eddie Hearn, like 10 days before that fight, 10, 11, 12, 13 days before that fight, Eddie Hearn was on record saying, my goal is to get Dalton Smith a unification. I'm like, that shit sound real weird. But he said that he would love to get Dalton Smith and Shakur Stevenson. And Dalton Smith was in an interview saying that he would love to fight Shakur Stevenson. Well, a week later, he pulled out a la Caleb Smith versus David Morrell, and David Morrell wound up getting stopped, and Caleb Smith was at that fight. How did that aid? It's like, no, you should have went ahead and not faked that dumbass injury and fought David Morrell. Why? You might have had a chance based on the results, but that would be being a hindsight of 2020s. But what I'm saying is, I think that shit was fake as hell for Dalton Smith to pull out of the fight with Alberto Puello. Why? Because Alberto Puello is one of the nicest niggas at 140. Remember, he already edged out Gary Antoine Russell. He's a pure boxer with some power. You know what I'm saying? He don't have knockout, one punch knockout power, but between his boxing acumen and his ability to land shots and play shots, he can get you out of there if you ain't right and exact. And he's a two-time champion. Nobody else other than Alberto Puello can say that they beat Gary Antoine Russell, who only 2 people escaped on his resume.
Okay, yeah, you go over there for it, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah.
These guys not on my level. I'm always humble. But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people been talking a lot of recklessness, and I just got to set the record straight. Dalton Smith, I'll clean him up real quick. Clean him up. Honestly, I'll knock him out. I would knock him out. I wouldn't even let it be no fight that get dragged into no 6, 8, 10 rounds. I'll get him up out of there.
He did good with Matias, man. He that was a good knockout against Matias.
Matias, listen, I've been calling out all of the boogeymen.
Yeah.
Everybody they said was a boogeyman, I called them out, and they all was ducking me. I was this close to getting Matias.
That's a fact. That is a fact, y'all. Like everybody that was saying was a boogeyman, Gary Antoine was calling him out. He even at one point in time, and since this one of my guys, it raised my eyebrows. He said, listen, I can go up or down. Meaning that in one time he said, man, I can go down and fight Tank, or I can go up. Because that was a time when they was thinking that, oh, because remember, PBC had offered Subriel Matias a deal. And that deal had required him to actually move up and fight Boots. And I was saying, why not? Why? Because at the time, Subriel Matias couldn't get a fight, and they both was under the IBF with the 10-pound rehydration. I was like, Subriel, you can't get a fight. I was like, man, shit, Boots, you can't get a fight. Subriel, you look like body-wise, you look like you right on the edge to where going to 147 with your fighting style, your punch resistance might be a little bit better. And you're an accumulation puncher. You're aware you wear somebody's batteries down. I was saying, why not? Subriel, just go ahead and go and fight Boots. But Subriel and them didn't want that offer. But that's where we was at. But at one point in time, Gary Antoine Russell was calling for all the smoke, and people was picking and choosing and figuring out a way. Because remember, Devin Haney had a lot to say when Mr. Gary Russell lost that fight to Mark Magsayo, and he got pickpocketed. Why? Because he won that fight. He won that fight. I don't know if y'all really know shit about boxing, but as a southpaw, which your right hand is forward, if you have a left shoulder injury where you can't throw your left, all you have is your lead hand. So if you get past that lead hand, you are a liability. He won that fight. Devin came out because of prior negotiations when he had a fight lined up with Gamboa. He shitted on he shitted on Mr. Gray Russell. He had YouTube shitting on him and painting all these narratives because Mr. Gary Russell was only able to fight once a year based on the fact that he was getting heavily ducked, right? When he got pickpocketed by Mark Magsayo because of the business of boxing, winning Mark Magsayo, a Manny Pacquiao fighter, to carry the torch and get that belt, and they awarded him with it, right? When he was the longest reigning champion, 6 years, 352 days. Devin Haney had a lot to say. You know what Gary Antoine said? He said, "Ho, I see that you chirping a lot about my brother. That's okay. Since you down at 35, when you get up to 140, come holler at me." Guess what happened? Devin never went to go holler at him. And that's why I say 140 is my division, a division in which a lot of people creep and tiptoe. Look at how Devin did. 2 fights. Not even really 2 fights. He fought Regis at 140, right? Then he fought Jose Ramirez at 144. Then he went to 147. Look at Keyshawn. Keyshawn, he fought Jermaine Ortiz and then got Nair Albright, a guy who he already fought, and then skipped smooth past 140. No Tito Mercado, no Andy Hiroka. Devin didn't fight Alberto Puello, who took his strap. Devin lost purse bid, didn't fight Sandor Martin at 140, my division, and I know. And he didn't never say no Gary Antoine Russell name before he went to 140.
He turned the other cheek. He went the opposite way. And honestly, Matias supposed to get knocked out. Look at how he fight. All his fights is he's walking guys down.
Yeah.
No head move, where he just literally lock his hands and just walk at people. Somebody was smart enough to pivot around it and make him pay for his stupid mistakes. And that's what Dalton Smith did.
Yeah.
You know, that's just simple tactical movement. You know, and he made him pay for it, but it was bound to happen. I would have knocked him out too if he would have fought me. You know, but now he's out of the rankings. So Dalton Smith, come holler at me when you get in good health. I pray for a speedy recovery just so I can stick foot in your ass.
You know, Shakur, you know, he dazzles people.
That's gangster. I pray for a speedy recovery because the real consummate professionals, like I always know me, man. Like that's why I don't pick on slow people. Like if I know you got a problem, I don't really pick. That's why I stay my ass in the house because the minute I see something wrong, I'm just one of them people that I don't tolerate no bullshit. I respect everybody. I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'll give you whatever you want. But if you special, I ain't gonna fuck with you, man. I ain't gonna pick with you. That's why I always fought people that thought they were bullies. But he was like, man, I pray for a speedy recovery. Why? So I can put foot off in your ass. And nobody ain't say shit. And remind you, this was back in Cinco de Mayo. Think about that. This was back during Cinco de Mayo, before the Benavidez and Zerto fight. And he said, I pray for a speedy recovery when Dalton Smith pulled out of that Alberto Puello, which I said is totally suspect. Why? Because Alberto Puello is one of the nicest niggas at 140. And nobody ain't say nothing. But being a consummate professional, Gary Antoine Russell said, I pray for a speedy recovery. Why? So I can put foot off in your ass. How about that?
With his sense of distance and how hard he was to hit and how accurate he was with each punch he threw against T. He outclassed you, if you know.
Like I said.
And we saw your sparring. Like the sparring was great work. The little clip we saw.
Some old ass sparring.
It was good work though.
I didn't even see the whole clip. That's the thing. I didn't even see the whole clip. We did like 12, 13 rounds that day.
What year was that?
And I was in the middle. I was the only one. I never hopped out.
Yeah.
I did rounds with Shakur. I did rounds with two other guys, and I stayed in the middle so I can have endurance and just get my IQ up. But don't get it twisted. That was a film that looked compatible. It didn't even look like he got out on me on that film. It was just compatible. Like I said, he's nice, but I feel like he can't fuck with me. He can't fuck with me.
What is it about the matchup that you could beat a guy that a lot of people, fighters, experts feel like he's the guy? No one can knock him off right now.
Listen, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one.
Right.
You know, but
that's why I mentioned fighters.
To answer your question, is that I'm built for this.
Yeah.
I'm built for this. Like I got all the attributes in me. I could be a pressure fighter. I could be a puncher boxer. I could be a defensive fighter as well. Mm-hmm. I just choose to pull out my arsenal, what I gotta pull out to get the job done. That's it. That's all. My last fight against Andy Oroka, something people really didn't see for real. I hit the shoulder roll on him. I really didn't want to do it because I don't find it to be fully efficient, but because I'm trying to show people like, look, I can do different things. I choose not to do it because once you got a game plan, you want to stick to that game plan and not deviate. You don't deviate and you execute things that's being told. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna come out victorious.
And from a military background, like a person like myself, I'm strategic. I'm not veering away from my game plan. If I keep doing the same shit to you and you can't defend it, why deviate? It's not that I can't make adjustments and all that, but why deviate? But in that Andy Hirioka, another boogeyman, hint, you know what I'm saying? Stay alert for the fresh new content. You know what I'm saying? If you pick up what I'm putting down, man, we're not gonna deviate. We gonna keep doing the same shit to you until you figure out a way to defend that shit. Point blank, period.
You know what I mean? But I showed a little bit of flair. I was on the back foot, moving around. Defense was good. I hit the shoulder roll a couple of times. You know what I mean?
So I really wanted to come out here and I really wanted to come out here and actually speak to that because it's nasty work. You know, I don't care what side you on, whether you're on Devin side, Shakur side, Tank side. I don't care what side you really on. But it's really nasty work to kind of pick and choose what Gary Antoine said to kind of cater to like your favorite fighter. It couldn't be more cut and dry than what he actually said. And you got to think that this shit is dated. And again, it wasn't until I put up this. Let me make sure. I don't know. I might still have it in here. Yeah, it wasn't until this is the irony. It wasn't until I put up this. It wasn't until I put up this that we actually see a video like that. Y'all don't find that ironic? It wasn't until I put up the fact that a PBC need to address this. Why? Because people could come out and they could say whatever the fuck they want about Rolly. They could say whatever the fuck they want about Gary Antoine. They could say whatever the fuck they want about David Benavidez. They could say whatever the fuck they want about Tank Davis. And there is no hub. The way you had Ring Magazine and Max Kellerman and all them zombies, fucking Malik Scott be holding his own. I'm not taking no shots at Malik Scott, right? He's the only one that'll infuse some shit to whack the hornet's nest. But when you talk about Shaden McCoy, Max Kellerman, all these other niggas that be on a panel, right? They can come on and say whatever the fuck they want to say. It wasn't until after I put out this video about a PBC needing a hub, somebody to come out and address this shit, that you come out and get this. Because people was thinking that the shit that Gary Antoine Russell said here about how he wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson last was just taken way out of context. It wasn't until after this that people started really hopping on that. And I'm like, nah, man, you got to do your homework. And as a real boxer fan, this is what channels like mine are designed for, to come out here and really flatline the facts. This guy is the top shot at 140, and it's the reason why you don't ever hear no content about Shakur Stevenson fighting Gary Antoine Russell. Because listen, it looked like he's ducking and dodging Devin Haney. So Devin Haney called his bluff at 144. He just came out and said that he's doing negotiation and all that, but we got to take that with a grain of salt. Why? Because you know if he go over to Zuffa and he has to fight for Zuffa, if you think it's fucked up to have 4 different sanctioning bodies that you can fight for, think about it when they condense that down to 1. And you're the guy. And you got to fight Godzilla, King Kong. You don't like the who's who, baddest motherfuckers, Wolverine. You ain't going to want to do that. Why? Because you're not built like that. That's why you had to go over there in the first place. Like Michael Jordan didn't go down to the D League because he just wanted to dominate and say, hey, like AC said, I'm tired of dealing with the media, so I'm going to go down to the D League and get my rocks off. Fuck no, you're not going to do that. If Wimby decided, hey, man, I'm going to go down to the D League, man, because I'm tired of y'all media niggas and, you know what I'm saying, I'm just, you know, I could just dominate. Y'all be like, man, Wimby is a pile of shit. But your favorite boxer get to go over to a D League that's not even established, and according to the WBO, ain't got no license to even bid on shit, which we've been trying to tell you, because that Zuffa steak tastes oh so delicious. Y'all be co-defendants, and that shouldn't be so. Gary Antoine is the top dog because he's the most tenured and he's the most dangerous fighter. Like he said, he can be a pressure fighter. He can use his defense if he needs to. Yes, Puello out-edged him, but your favorite fighter wouldn't get in the ring with Alberto Puello, and I have proof. Why? Because Alberto Puello and Gary Antoine Russell fought for the belt that Devin lost when Ryan waxed his ass. And Devin didn't come back and get his strap. The link is available if you want to debate me on that. Don't play with me, man. Play with something safe. AC, salute. I'm almost into it. I'm almost into the meat and potatoes of this, but I want to clarify this, man, and get this smut off my man Gary Antoine Russell's name for the sake of the game. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop playing, man. We gotta stop virtual signaling. We gotta stop, you know what I'm saying? Because I noticed that because Gary Antoine Russell is not a popular guy, people are not gonna put their neck out and say the truth for this guy. But I'm like, somebody gotta do it. It's not about the likes, clicks, and the views. And we didn't get monetized. We didn't get the amount of subscribers. We didn't get nothing doing anything that we haven't been doing before. So that means that what? We had to take the stairs. And a lot of these new niggas want to take the stairs. They don't want to take the stairs. They want to take the elevator. So that's what I got to do. I got to put this shit out for him. So that's the first part. That's the first part. You know what I'm saying? This is the first part where I had to defend Gary Antoine Russell's name. You feel me? So I had to defend Gary Antoine Russell's name. Right now, I'm getting ready to get into the meat and potatoes. And I'm about to point out some things and do a review. And just like always, I gotta cite fair use. I gotta cite fair use for this. This is not my content. You know what I'm saying? But this is for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Right? We're just trying to tip the conversation in a balance in favor of fair. So this is the other one, y'all. Check me out. Check me out. Now, Tank Camp. See, people use this, and we thought that the application in which people was using this, they was making it seem to believe that this was geared towards the Schofield situation. So I had to stop. And I was like, because I got to qualify, like, excuse me, since anybody with a funky ass pair of lips, shout out to Black Fight Fan, he taught me this. Anybody with a pair of funky ass lips will say any kind of shit, right? I had to qualify anything that come across my timeline about Javante Tank Davis, because you have a funky ass set of lips, I got to qualify that shit. So I was like, man, let me look at what they talk about, man. Because originally I thought that this shit was about Schofield when they put this out. Because the context of the scale and why Shakur put up the scale, I thought that was in relation to him and Devin Haney. And then this shit came across my timeline. And somebody said 100. Came to collect 100. AC Lemon, 1029, 2 days. Tank Camp so terrified of Shakur, they won't even think about fighting him. G Money, Javante Davis burner account. Well, you're hearing it personally from me. We're going to see each other soon. And see, I was kind of confused because I'm like, well, Jam, if they are in negotiations with Schofield, that makes sense. Like, you got to hear it because it's in purse bid. I mean, it's not in purse bid yet, but they're in negotiations. It's only a couple days before purse bid is, a conversation. And I'm like, okay, so that might apply to Schofield. But that's not what this applies to. Shakur Stevenson, bet that. So Tank said, hey, you're going to hear from me soon. Shakur Stevenson, bet that. Javante Davis, in the most disrespectful way, blew this nigga a kiss. I got a chance to see Shakur Salty Little Pretzel, aka Blue Hustle, talk about how disrespectful Shakur was when he was in the ring by calling Oshaki Foster a bitch after he refused to shake his hand after he beat his mans. He still called him a bum. Then ran to Twitter and got it on. But they were so quick to be in the mess hall with their chest out because Shakur Stevenson was portrayed as being ultra disrespectful to Oshaki Foster in the ring. But Tank just blew this nigga a kiss. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. That might be some jailhouse type shit. But I mean, do I condone it? I'm not sure. But I know when disrespect is disrespect, but ain't no grown ass nigga gonna blow me no kiss. Let's follow up. Shakur Stevenson. T.O., comma, Devin, then you. Thank you, killer. He even called him a killer. AI robot arm emoji. Okay, no disrespect detected. G Money. St. Davis's burner account. Money fly off in one. You and Devin are fucking cheaters. Weight bullies. Nigga wasn't y'all talking about me doing rehydration. Yo ass a bitch for real. Utter disrespect detected. Disrespect detector meter off the chain right now. It's in the red right now. But let's continue. A paragraph. At first sight, I see a paragraph, no exclamations, no emojis, no angry faces, no P words. You know what I'm saying? No editing, no nothing. Just a straight paragraph from Shakur Stevenson. No, you getting me mixed up with him. I don't fuck with rehydration clauses at your natural weight class, but me and you could jump on a scale at any time of day so you can see my natural weight. It's either lower than yours or the same, and I'm willing to bet on it. No, my disrespect meter, I not even a bleep. Nothing. No disrespect. It's all, paragraph, no exclamation, no derogatories, no explicit tips. Direct order. A direct order from G Money. You know what I'm saying? Post your weight right now. Explanation. Again, no explicitives, really no punctuation other than a comma to separate, a clause. We both know niggas could fake and show old pictures. FaceTime me. I will show you and you can show me. No disrespect meter, not a blip, not a bleep. got Tank. Light skin feet, no. I can't talk, man, cause my feet light as hell. My lady be busting on me all the time for having light skin feet. She be like, why? Y'all know you ain't talk about me with your light skin feet, your white feet. 147.1. Okay, that's Tank. I don't know if y'all caught that, but that said 148.6. You got 147 and 148 roughly. So Tank 147, Shakur 148. Shakur Stevenson, 1 pound different. We are the same size, my nigga. I'm just daring to be great by taking these risks with these big motherfuckers. Absolutely no punctuation. My disrespect meter is not a bleep. You know what I'm saying? Can be found. So profound. Homie think we cool. FaceTime? Question? Fam, I don't fuck with you. Not only you, I don't fuck with the people you with. None of that nigga soft. I'm alone. There's no Avengers. No bromances. Like, it's just me. I'm a one-man army. When it comes to the disrespect, that shit went about halfway to 3/4. You know what I'm saying? It didn't get in the red, but it was in the yellow for sure when it came to G Money. I'm not trying to be cool with you. I just was showing you. I'm not cap. Feel how you feel. These niggas really need to know how to place their punctuations, because for a nigga that's an author and that read for a living and write for a living and was educated with a college degree, this shit be fucking my head up. But you know what I'm saying? I just had to convert back to my dumbed down ways to understand what these niggas be saying. Judgment Day will come. We will get it in and keep it moving. This shit personal for you, but for me, I'm just trying to be great, because my disrespect meter was damn near non-existent. Damn near non-existent. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect detected, no extreme punctuation, no explicitives. Like, to me, if I was reading this, I would say a nigga was on his best behavior. And another paragraph, a double back, and I don't take nothing away from you. That should have been a punctuation. I'm not trying to be friends with you. But I'm not against you either until I have to go against you. For real. You come from where I come from. It seemed like camaraderie. Like, man, listen, man, we both grew up in the hood, bruh. I ain't taking nothing away from you, man. I ain't trying to be your BFF, but I ain't your enemy either, cuz destiny just awaits us. That's all. My aggression meter, damn near non-existent. It was almost in the negative, if you ask me.
Javonte, a lot of boxing fans aren't happy.
I don't know, man. You gotta tell me, man, if there was any disrespect detected, if it seemed like somebody was on demon time and another individual, I don't know. You could consider me biased because I claim to be, I'm a fan of boxing, but I am a Javonte Tank Davis fan. I used to be a Shakur Stevenson fan, but just like Richardson Hitchens, I had to get off the bandwagon when they started moving funny. But I talked about it. I said that my aggression meter, it never went off the chain. It never went off the Richter scale. But I heard some aggression from Tank. I heard some disrespect. I heard some, you gonna do this, and then I seen action where, okay, the nigga actually got on the scale and responded. It was, I'm not against you. Like, all of that other shit that I used to see in these videos and all that, like everything that the Blue Hustles of the world, anybody that's a part of the Shakur family, things that they would expound on and try to reason or rationale, put themselves into a pretzel over. When I seen it, I just was like, okay, my nigga is checking temperatures. It gives me hope because it looked like my nigga is back, and the same aggression, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all, the same aggression that was missing when it came down to Lamont Roach because he respected the man's mom and said, oh, you brought Mom Dukes to the fight? It's not going to be there. It's not going to be there when it come down to the Shakap, you know what I'm saying, the Shakur clan. It's not going to be there. It's totally different. The communication is totally different. And I'm glad I have people around me that'll keep me balanced and let me know, okay, well, Mike, you reaching, you know what I'm saying, step back, you know what I'm saying, take a breath, do a couple woosahs. But as far as I'm concerned, it looked like my nigga got full aggression towards Shakur. And a fight, the Cold War, this shit that I used to talk about all the time right here, the Cold War, look like it's heating up. What say you, AC? And salute to you, AC.
Man, salute to you. Salute to the chat and everything else, bro. I'm gonna say it like this. When you sent me the video, I watched the video, and I had my comments, and then I was like, I'm gonna paraphrase what I said because I think this might hit a little bit better. There's a meter that says professional cordial on one side. The other side says fuck you. When I look at Shakur's statements, if I was going to take a temperature reading or a barometer reading or something, you stayed either right in the middle or you kind of edged over to the cordial professional side. You stayed within a certain percentage, 8 to 10, no more than 15% of that side, right? Tank Davis started off on that side. And then he said, fuck this nigga. And everything stayed on the side of fuck you. Fuck your team. Fuck your crew. Fuck your even existence and all of this fake ass fame that you got. Because here's the thing. I could go back and look at it like this. Badu Jack, Hitchens, and Rowley all came up in the gym around the same time Tank was there. But Tank was at a different level and stuff like that. Can I recall any point within looking at a Tank Davis fight coming up, or anything like that, where he's talking like, yeah, I pulled in all of these guys to come help me get set for a guy? When I look at the things with Tank Davis, it was just Tank Davis, Coach Calvin, and his other coach to prepare him for a fight. If I'm wrong about that, somebody in the chat put it out there. Maybe Body will correct me afterwards, but that's just what I was seeing from Tank. He's always been a man on the island. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even bend the knee when it came down to what we were calling little bro, big bro with him and Floyd. The original little big bro shit. But they were saying Tank was Floyd's little bro, his little protege, he the person, whatever, took a big interest in the young, powerful dude, and that's where we got that dynamic. So even within that dynamic, you seen them two beefing with each other, hard body. Tank puts up the picture with fucking Mayweather with the kinky boots on. That shit was hilarious. I was like, Tank, you off the chain with that, bro. Come on, man. You can't do that to Floyd, bro. Come on, man. That shit is crazy. But he did it just to let you know that, listen, I don't give a fuck. I'm from B-More. Fuck with me if you want. You feel what I'm saying? So you gotta in moments like that, you just had to respect his gangster. So for a person to tell me that he's afraid of Shakur, I have to look at you and say, listen, the beef between him and Floyd, that shit could have been a real fight behind the scenes. Because if my little nigga posts some shit like that at me, like, little nigga, first of all, you gonna go on TV and apologize, or I'm gonna fuck you up on TV. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's that for me. When I looked at that whole series of videos, the talking points are, but Tank don't want to fight nobody. Tank ain't in a hurry to make no fight with Shakur. Tank don't want to fight Shakur. Tank know he can't beat Shakur, so that's why he won't fight Shakur. That's why he went to go fight Jake Paul, because he was ducking Shakur. I was like, wait. I don't know how y'all got to ducking Shakur when the Lamont Roach rematch was on the table. All right, listen, we're not going to do that, and I'm not even going to engage that type of conversation. But Shakur was pretty adamant, and been pretty adamant, when he's on these interviews by himself in these comfortable chairs and rooms and stuff like that, buying watches and all of this other kind of stuff. He's pretty comfortable just coming out his face as soon as the name is brought. Oh, fuck him. I ain't trying to think about that dude. Fuck him. But you talking to that man face to face right there. Not face to face, but in the social media world and Twitter and shit like that, if we both going back and forth, that's damn near face to face when it comes down to these boxers, because they can see each other. They got the resources to just hop on a plane and go see somebody, go see them at the gym or whatever the case may be. So it's a bit different. I take those type of beefs a little bit more serious than if it's me arguing with the dude online. I don't have the resources to just hop up like right now and be like, babe, hold on, I'm going to check this nigga. He talking real reckless. I know what gym he be in. I'm about to just hop on a plane and go to Minnesota or some shit like that to check him. Me, if you ain't in a gym that's either down here on DeKalb or some shit like that, bro, I am never gonna see you 9 times out of 10. So I take those type of beefs a little bit, a lot of bit differently, and I put a bit more weight to it. You out here beefing with this man. You feel what I'm saying? So if I want to look at things and look at Mr. Shakur Stevenson, first it was Conor Benn earlier this year. Then it was O'Shaquie Foster. who that argument has been lingering. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's Tank. What is the common denominator? Shakur. So what are you doing right now? Because right now it just seems like you making a hell of a lot of pasta and you putting that shit in plastic wrap and storing it in the refrigerator. So when you need that ball of pasta, you can just break a ball out, cut it up, roll some shit, you know, form it or whatever the fuck you gonna do with it, make a ravioli, whatever you gonna do with it. and then you're gonna try to sell it to me. I don't want the friendship ravioli. I don't want the tricolor or multicolor ravioli with the friendship plan inside of it as the filling. I'm not buying that shit, bruh. So for me, I'm just like, man, listen, Shakur and everybody else in the boxing community. Tank's coming back. He's got the what's the name on the table. We all know it's not going to be a problem with Tank signing that and going through with the fight. The problem is going to be the other guy, because right now, man, you're the poster child for safe sex. Like if I was to go back to school and go to one of the electives where sex education is still there, you got a picture of Floyd Schofield, you know, neck up, like pull out game. This is the guy to look at. He gets right up there, like, oh, don't move, it's about that. Nope, gotta go. You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
Oh my gosh.
So at that point, it's like, bruh, am I expecting Floyd Schofield maybe to go through with the fight? I don't know. If it's mandated and stuff like that, which I'm kind of hearing, I don't know if that's actually true. And if it goes to purse bid, then that means Schofield and them is stolen, not Tank. Not Tank.
Yeah. And to me, man, going back before I address the Schofield thing, salute the Dev, man. Salute the knockout, man. Salute the knockout, man. Salute the Dev, man. I appreciate y'all. But what I want to say is, you know, when it comes down to Shakur, like just seeing that interview when I was over there on Cam J, you know what I'm saying? And salute to Cam J. When I was over there and he was doing the review, he been doing a lot of good reviews, right? I was saying that it'd be different if Shakur was a killer. But when you hear somebody calling somebody pussy and this and that, it's like I go back to what I used to say with me and you. We used to be over there on Pop, you know what I'm saying, on Smoke Channel, and I'd be like, man, what's the villain without no weapon? Like if you was beating shit down people's leg and all that, I could respect if you were saying the shit that you're saying. But you can't be talking like that when you were known as a defensive guru, like, which is cool. Being a Teflon Don is cool. But every villain I know and every evil movie, every movie that I've seen, every show where it was a villain, villains had weapons. Like the Joker. You can say what you want about him. He might not have been the most brolic or whatever, but he had weapons. So that's what throws me off, because the conversation, like, it's almost like when Benny said, nah, the handshake ain't matching the smile. You niggas foul. It's like your handshake ain't matching the smile. Like the shit you be talking don't match the kind of style that you got in the ring. Like it's almost like the way Shakur talk would be the way that Tank would talk, knowing that, okay, people be saying he be losing rounds. I seen something recently where 50 came out and said, yeah, he be losing rounds till you knock a nigga out. And they made it like a negative thing. And I'm like, okay, let's just say it was true, because that's not true. According to the scorecard, and I challenge somebody to show me any scorecard where you could produce a scorecard to show me that Tank was actually losing before he knocked the nigga out. You might be able to do that in one instance, right? But 9 times out of 10, he's not losing. It's just your perception of him and how you perceive boxing before he actually stops somebody that allow you to believe that. So I was kind of disappointed in 50, but I don't want no smoke with 50. I don't got no money. I don't got the kind of money that can compete or troll or do anything with 50. So I don't want no smoke with 50. Let's be honest. But when it comes down to Shakur, he has a different kind of energy for certain type of people. And like now, this hiatus that Tank has been on since he's been away, and now it's a threat of him coming back, and now it's looking like, man, they need him. Like, this might have been, like, granted, the legal issue and shit that he went through, it was unnecessary. And yeah, it's some areas that's not great. It's some areas that look a little dark or whatever, you know what I'm saying, but not to pass judgment until it's all coming out. It's some areas that don't look all the way right and exact when it comes to Tank, right? But one thing we do know, and in the vein of this channel, where we keep it all the way inside the ring and then we work our way outside the ring as necessary. Tank never really was like that. He would talk his shit once the fight was announced, and he'll do whatever he said to Rolly. He said whatever he said to Ryan. He said, "Oh, Tank, man, he said, Frank, man, you acting different, and that's not you." Same shit I was saying. That's not you, right? But like, the actions of Tank always align with his behavior inside the ring, even though he was mild in a sense. Like, him and Earl got that kind of down, to where Earl would say his little catch lines, his little one-liners, his little one phrases, but their style dictates that the shit that they be talking, they could back it up. It just always baffles me that as a long-time Shakur fan, not an only fan, but the shit that he be talking don't line up to the style. And that's more of the problem with me. Now with Floyd Schofield, this man done pulled out of 3 fights. Remember, before Abdullah Mason had a strap, they ducked him for $1 million. And I heard somebody, they was right on tack. I heard somebody bring up these things, but they was a little off on the timeline, because they said when he had a 5-fight, $5 million deal. No, this was prior to him having that 5-fight, $5 million deal, when he ducked Abdullah Mason for that strap for $1 million. I'm like, that was your time to shine. But if you add up, you ducking H2O, we seen H2O against JoJo Diaz. We seen H2O get knocked out by Lucas Body. That should have been your fight, but you ducked. So you ducked against, I'm not saying duck, but you pulled out against H2O. You pulled out against Shakur. You pulled out against JoJo Diaz. And now, as a Tank fan, I'm concerned. I'm like, yeah, I accept the fight as far as the comeback fight. I don't give a fuck who Tank fight coming back. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be one of the people that try to virtue signal and say, oh man, you need to be this. I don't give a fuck. When you come back and you've been outside the ring that long, yeah, you need to come back and get your feet wet. So I don't give a fuck who he come back and fight. For real, for real. Now that next fight, it's like, yeah, you can't come out and fight bum after bum. But when you come back and get your feet wet, I don't give a fuck. That's just me personally. You know, nail me to the cross. But I'm concerned going against Schofield, and now it's looking like the things that Schofield are saying, it's like it leads me to believe that everything that they were saying beforehand, because remember, they wanted Tank to turn himself in. 2, they were saying, oh, well, he's going to 40. 3, they were saying, the whole time they were saying, oh, well, Tank ain't gonna fight me. He gonna do X, Y, and Z. He gonna blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hold on, man. It's like everything that you're saying, like if you're not like just a fan of Schofield and you're gonna look at it objectively, it's not sounding like he really wants this fight. It sounded like he wants to do everything that it takes to actually get the belt, but not fight Tank. And I was on Cam J's network yesterday, and I was saying, man, to me, if the shit go to purse bid, it's because the Schofields and them are being greedy. And I always ask this question, and nobody will ever answer me, to where it's like, you point out, bring to the red carpet a PBC opponent or somebody that was on the opposite end of a PBC guy where they're actually complaining about pay. You can't find them. And how was there never no purse bid against somebody that was so great as Shakur Stevenson, but that fight went on deck and we didn't have no purse bids? It wasn't going to none of that. Why? Because it seems like the Schofields are being cantankerous. non-agreeal, non-committal. They're saying all these things out in public, negotiate, and we know PBC has a track record where they don't really negotiate in the public. You showed me something where the PBC was actually out there actively negotiating in the public, because why? Leonard Ellaby had already told us about the mantra of PBC. You don't negotiate in the public. The minute you start negotiating in the public, that's why when they keep doing it like the shit that Bill do, I've been so accustomed, done so many videos on Bill. When I said they had the worst toxic fan base, they were toxic for boxing. When the shit what happened with Bernard Hopkins and how he was gonna get fucked up and he didn't want to go in that stall, he didn't want to go in that bathroom with Bernard. I was saying, man, they gonna get fucked up one day. And look at the track record with Tiger and all them. But you can never show me where PBC negotiated in public, or a fighter that actually came out outright, was in a mess hall with their chest out, talking about how they got raped by PBC as far as they pay. They point to Adrian Broner, but that's also the guy that was burning $100 bills and putting them in the toilet and shit like that, flushing $100 bills down the toilet. And we see now that he got his streaming shit, what he's doing with money. He's tricking off and all that. So for me, it's looking like the Schofields are doing everything that they need to do to avoid the actual fight, but to get the belt, because they wanted him to turn himself in. They were saying he was going to 140, and now they're overpricing themselves, which we just did the Fuck is a Duck volume 3, I think that was, where we say that the price out, which is the Muscovy Drake. You know, a la Canelo asking for 200 M's. It's like, at this point, Schofield, where you at in your career, I don't give a fuck what Tank decide to offer. And we know it's going to be decent because it's going to be pay-per-view. Whatever he offer you at this point in time, you need to take it. Why? Because if you spark his ass like you did Tevin Farmer, you're set. Look at Lamont after the draw. You know what I'm saying? So those are my thoughts on Shakur. Those are my thoughts on Schofield. What you got? And salute to D1. Glad to see you in the building, man. Subscribe to D1, man. So salute to D1. Same here, yo. I don't care who Tank fight. I just want to see him back. IMP MON loyal servant. Hey, salute. That's how I feel, man. Thank you. Thanks for the support. D1, that shit was funny today, bro. God damn, I definitely don't care who he fighting. They all scared of bro for real. I real recognize real, man. Joe Quinn, salute, body, salute. And they giving D1 some love, man. Salute, shout out to D1, man. Like this.
I think if you could tell me if I'm right or wrong in the chat, I think he's getting his name off of It Man, when Jet Li was playing those movies and shit like that, because he's saying It Man's player's servant. So I think that's where he's kind of getting that name from. But where I'm at on it is like this. When you were talking about villains who have weapons, right? You have villains out there like Kang, Loki, the Joker. They don't have like the superpower strength, but they have the mind to where they can plan shit and make shit happen. You feel what I'm saying? Except Loki. Yeah. Loki's god of chaos or whatever. But when you look at some villains who aren't even strong enough to beat up Batman, you feel what I'm saying? You're looking at dudes who have the foresight. They can see, plot, and let things happen. One of Lex Luthor's greatest strengths. So when I look at a villain like Shakur, or a person that says I want to play that villain role, you almost had it to whereas you formed your little what people were calling the Avengers. You feel what I'm saying, or Legion of Doom, or however people wanted to classify you, Hitchens, and everybody. I was calling y'all the Brat Pack and the Friends and Family Pack. But within that space, it seemed as though you were trying to build up your little army. But at the end of the day, here's the issue. if you choose to be the leader and you send one of your people out and one of your people get dusted, sometimes that's when the leader has to flex. Come out with your little power suit on, and you fuck somebody up real quick, you know, and do something. But you don't even want to do that. You don't even want to do that. But the onus and the blame goes on the guys who are trying to do what they do. Now concerning Schofield. At first I was kind of rocking because I thought you had a strategy. I thought there was meaning behind what you was doing. There was a purpose. And I was like, look, I think he's doing it like that like the old WWE dudes used to do, or the WWF dudes used to do. You know, certain guys who had the mantra of not speaking a lot or whatever. They had Jimmy South, or Jimmy whatever, the mouth of the South. And he would talk all kind of guerrilla shit for people. You know what I'm saying? And then all the guy had to do was just go in there and perform. That's the trajectory I thought you were going to carry with young Schofield. You know what I'm saying? He had the tangibles. He was in that vein. Quiet as kept. He was in the same boat at one point as Brian Norman Jr. Two young guys, kind of short, stocky, very muscular. From the eye test, yeah, we can see some skills, we can see some promise, but we want to see what happens after that. Brian Norman then surpasses you and gets the belt. At one point, you were slightly ahead of Brian Norman because the work your pops did, because he was out here on every platform bigging you up, talking about you. Now, you know, granted, you're still in a position to where now you have to show and prove. And doing what you're doing, it's like Brian Norman is already on, you know, Mars, getting ready to take off to go to Jupiter. You haven't even left your living room yet, homie. That's the big problem. And I don't know if you and your pop see that, because y'all was in the same boat together. People were classifying you guys together. You know what I'm saying? As two young, these big body type dudes. Had you also in the same category with the muscular fighter like Frank Martin and shit like that. All you guys got the skills, but you got these, you know, these muscular bodies, and you're not tall. So we were talking about you guys like, yeah, there's got to be a natural whatever once you get where you need to be, and that power is really gonna come out, because the body type you got says you should be smacking shit to sleep early. Then you go out there and you smack that Tevin Farmer to sleep. You know, finish him off. So I'm like, wow, okay. You might be right there. So now we want to see what's next. And what came about next was like a bunch of talk. Like I always say, yeah, you call me up and you talk to me, but you won't come over here and hose me down. So it's just like, bro, stop talking, stop being on the phone. Like, shorty, I'm gonna send you this eggplant emoji, 2 watermelons. You feel what I'm saying? Eggplant, two watermelons, and a big glass of water. Like, yeah, bitch, I'm thirsty for that ass. I'm about to come down and put it down on you. But chick like, all right, cool, I'll be home tomorrow, you know, all afternoon. The kids, I ain't got to pick them up early or whatever the case may be, and I'm free. I got like 6 hours free. You coming through? And you like, yeah, I'm coming through. Then the next day you like, yeah, I'm still gonna come through, but I'm getting ready to go do some shit with my mans first. And then she like, all right, it's been 2 hours late. You still finished? Nah, baby girl, I'm still over here. You know what? In fact, baby girl, I'll just see you next time. Like, what do you mean next time? Tomorrow, next week? No, just next time. When I get around to it. What do you think that chick gonna do? She gonna call the next nigga. And then your work is now in the next dude. She's screaming out the next nigga daddy. When she could have been telling you that to you.
Yep.
And that's what you dudes keep doing. Many of you young fighters keep doing it. We look at you like, bro, I don't know how you have a girlfriend. I don't even know how you got kids.
All
Because,
that,
go ahead.
all that phone boning. It's phone boning. You
Yeah.
put in all that quality time, all these pictures, images. You might be some music. You know, all that setting the mood. You get me all built up on Jason's lyrics, like she said on Jason's lyrics. You get me all built up, but you can't hose me down. And I always say, Papa Skull, he's fuck, cause I don't have nothing personally against Floyd Schofield, but his father is ruining his career.
Yeah,
Like, he's ruining his career. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion.
Yeah, at this point, I'm in the same boat, because in the beginning, you were supposed to do it to get your son there. Once he gets there, then it's all on him. He don't really need you to talk like that, but he'll need you to talk in between smacking somebody to sleep or stopping somebody or doing what you're doing. But
Yep.
you needed to be in winning ways. And winning ways is like, you're young enough and elastic enough that, you know, you can at least give us 3 fights in a year. You were happy sitting at that number 1 spot all of that time and not doing nothing. You walked away from that Abdullah Mason fight. That if you would have beat young Abdullah, oh my God, where would you be right now?
Yeah, it's not just that. It's not okay. So you pulled out of a H2O fight. You pulled out of a Shakur fight. You pulled out of a Jojo Diaz fight, and you ducked. You turned down $1 million offer before you got that 5-fight, $5 million deal, which is $1 million fight, which is the same thing. After talking all that shit about sparring against Abdullah. So that's 3. That's, you could say that's really like 3. They say that's 3 ain't impossible. That's really 4, because you literally pulled out from Abdullah, but you pulled out 3 times and then you straight up ducked Abdullah Mason. So it's like, what leg do you have to stand on? You've been in that spot. You was in that number 1 spot for Tank before the Shakur fight, and you pulled out. Yeah, we got our reason where you got tapped on the shoulder, but it is what it is. Whatever happened, whatever, however you want to play it. Like, if we let it bygone be gone, you came back, you sparked Tevin Farmer. Okay, cool. But like, your reputation is in shambles, in my opinion. So you don't really have no way to be able to say, and then to say that tanking them is being greedy, that don't even make no sense. How can they be greedy when they're the A side, which the offer comes from them?
Yeah.
So you got to be the one being greedy, saying, no, we want more. And you knew this because you wanted Tank to either A, go to 40, B, turn himself in, or C, if push came to shove, you was just going to be, what you call it? Whatever word you want to, or however, whatever concept you want to describe it as, just being like non-agreeal or non-committal. You just gonna be difficult in negotiations because you know that he got the legal troubles. You know that the WBA is in limbo, and you think that's gonna work to your advantage. But your father is so dumb, because if he knows as much like he know about the boxer styles and all that, then you would know that if you push this shit to purse bid, then more than likely I'll want to win that shit, and you're going to be subjected to the 20%, which will pale in comparison probably to the major number that they're giving you. I know they're going to make you a millionaire. I know you're going to get way more than $1 million for this fight. I know that.
Here's a starting baseline, and I'm just going to use what the information that was already been out there. You feel what I'm saying? On average, and I'm asking this question, on average, what is the guarantee to fight Tank Davis on average?
Yeah.
1.5. That's the number everybody was saying, 1.5. Shakur, you get the 1.5, but then you get all this heavy money on the back end. You feel what I'm saying? That'll make up your $2.5, $3 million you're gonna make, you know, fighting Tank Davis if you haven't even seen $1 million yet. And this is the part where I try to not make it relevant, but in this particular case, it does have some relevancy in the fact of saying this. All right, if you signed a deal, a 5-fight deal where you were going to get $1 million, on average, for Tank to make this fight and not be stuck fucking around with a lot of people and stuff like that, he's going to offer you the solid standard 1.5.
Right.
That's still more than what you've made, because your contract, your 5-fight contract, is $5 million over 5 fights, and you're not showing us that you're willing to be a participant in taking as many fights as you can get as fast as possible. You can make that $5 million over 5 years, or you can make it in a year and a half. It all depends on you.
And this the thing, AC. Like when it comes to Frank Martin, I think he got whatever it was, like up front, but then it might not have been the lion's share of the back end, but he got a little bit on the back end, because remember, we was questioning. I said, God damn, I said, man, Tank, I said I was concerned about Frank, because outside of him going up against Tank, Frank was one of my guys. I used to do content on him and everything. And I said, man, Frank done disappeared. Like he didn't got paid. Like, so he only got that front, but then he got that back. And it was just like, damn, Frank, did you get paid so much to where it's like, you saying fuck boxing now? So it's like even an inkling of that, even if it's 5% of whatever you do, and with Tank's being Tank's comeback fight, people are going to buy the shit out that fight. So your father is fucking you up. Schofield Sr. is fucking you up, because you will get paid handsomely, but it ain't even just the pay. This, like, realistically, this would be the closest thing to, and I'm not comparing them to it, but this would be the closest thing to when Floyd said, all right, I'm about to go fight Oscar, because Oscar was the man. So if Tank the money man and you go fight him, and you was to knock him out or knock him, you seen what happened with Lamont Roach off of a draw.
Yeah.
If you were to knock him out, the money you got, but then what you gonna get after that, and the back end,
and that's
would dictate you to go ahead and say, I'm gonna go ahead and come on in. I'm not gonna be difficult, but the fact that they being difficult says that y'all playing politics and y'all don't really want to fight Tank. These niggas don't really want to fight Tank.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the point that where I was gonna land it at the end of the day. Like I just said, if you got a 5-fight deal that's in front of you, all you got to do is make those 5 fights. How do you make those 5 fights? Like I say, it's more than one way to get to the number 5, right? More than one way to get to the number 5. Which way are you going to take? Are you going to go one by one? Or are you going to just say, within the scope of this year, how many fights can I get in this year, and how many fights can I get in next year? Because I want to improve. Okay, I want to become a millionaire fast, and I want to show the company that, yeah, you give me a 5-fight deal, we're gonna blow through these 5 fights within 2 years. Because I'm that hungry. Even if I got a belt, I'm still moving the same way. That's the difference between me when I look at a go-getter. You put a 5-fight deal, or tell me, okay, listen, here's the deal. We're gonna pay you $5 million, right? If you can get us 2 Michelin stars within 5 years. I'm gonna look at him and say, okay, the next question I'm gonna ask is, what level of investment are you willing to make into the kitchen? Because you give me the right investment, I can get that. I can get those 2 stars maybe within the first, definitely within the first 2 years. And you give me a good budget for staff, and I can make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I think. Because for me, I know I could take 5 years to make that, or I could do it within 2 and then double that number on the 3rd year. Okay, yeah. I just did a contract with you for 5. We got to do better. Look at who I just beat. And I got a belt now. That's good numbers for the company. It's good numbers for the sanction. It's good representation. And hype around me for the sanctioning bodies and stuff like that. So, you know, let's start getting the business of this thing going. I don't want to be stuck looking at just making $5 million over the next 5 years, although 5 years goes by like that, especially when you got kids, but it's still 5 years. I could do this shit within 2. Why wouldn't I? So you got to make this Tank Davis fight business-wise if you want to see that 5 million faster than what you normally do. You take this Tank Davis fight, win, lose, or draw, Schofield. Let's say this. Let's say Tank gets a hand injury in the middle of the fight. He punched you somewhere on your head and it fucked his hand up. Now you're in a position where you're doing 12 rounds with Tank Davis. You know the type of push you get if you play that thing right? Look at what happened with Lamont Roach for pulling a draw.
Yep.
Look at what happened with both Frank Martin, Rolly Romero, and Ryan Garcia. Look at what happened between those 3 young fighters who actually were stopped by Tank. Rolly got the stinky leg. Ryan got the body shot that made him quit. And Frank just ran out of gas because he didn't have nothing he couldn't eat. He was Ethiopian. So basically, look at where they at right now. People were high on Frank Martin because of the Albright fight. They were getting high on Frank Martin because him moving up to 40. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Rolly is now a boogeyman at 47. They said. You feel what I'm saying? And Ryan is the darling. Ryan got a belt now. He too legit to quit. He on his empty hammer.
Look, if JoJo Diaz with the resume that he has, and one of the things is like, you know, that's one of Devin's claim to fame. If Rolly is still eating, JoJo Diaz is still eating. He just got a Ashton Silver. What would be the track record of you still eating? What would be the track record of any of these guys still eating because they would share the ring with Tank?
Yeah.
So long story short is like, man, and I would say this before we wrap up, because the fights is on now. I think we way past the opening cards, but like, I'll say this: the Schofield, Floyd, man, he got a very, very accurate pullout game because at first he had a son. I'm like, damn, you done pulled out of 3 fights, but you had a son. Now this man got a daughter. You can't be playing around and messing up. Like, you got a daughter now. You got a son and a daughter. At first, it was just a son. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, man, you know, come on in with that Tank shit. And I don't know, man. You might fuck up. And then with Shakur being a free agent, because we just found out Shakur is a free agent now. And the Devin Haney shit, they say they're in negotiations, you know. But I'm like, man, y'all might have to go over to Zuffa, and Shakur might be looking at it because he is a chess player. But Shakur is smarter than what everybody. See, you can play dumb, but you can't play smart. And I'm thinking, man, we might be closer to a Tank and Shakur fight than anybody believe, because let Schofield fuck up and Shakur still be out there, and they do a Bud and Earl. You're gonna miss the train, bro, and you're never gonna be able to hop on it. And you can say fuck the belt, because think about it right now. Shakur is telling Devin, man, if you want this fight, fuck that belt. But if you want to hold on to your belt, then fight Keyshawn. So what happened? So that's how they pursue the belt. So if Schofield, if you fuck around and you keep trying to fuck around with Tank, and he fuck around and make a Shakur fight, they're gonna shit in your mouth, literally.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say it like this. When I was on different panels and I was first coming up with the like, yo, there's some sort of play to get Devin Haney out of his belt at 47. I'm just seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but you know, I was like, What if I was saying the play? So what if the just the play between them and their manager is okay? We get Keyshawn, we get Devin Haney out of that by the enticement of the Shakur Stevenson fight or whatever. And Devin Haney is going to be no stranger to dropping the belt or being stripped or whatever, because it happened at his other two weight classes. He hasn't been in a weight class where he hasn't been forced to drop a belt or stripped. And this will be his third weight class within that situation. So it's not going to affect him. They don't give a fuck about that. So at the end of the day, I'm saying it like this. I was saying it like this. The way Jay Prince is moving with him and Keyshawn trying to say, I just woke up, and you and I know hands down, that is, you got to go and you got to put money down for that. And you got to petition him for whatever. And to get a number one spot, bro, that shit is at least $1 million, man. That ain't one of them 100,000, 50,000 jump offs. That shit gonna be at least $1 million. And for me,
don't give away too much, AC, because people ain't picked up on that. Like I'm just letting the conversation go by because I'm like, it's a lot of intricate details because they want to cook on one particular person.
Exactly.
So don't give away too much. But we knew that was some bullshit. I just woke up and I was just like,
I didn't know it must have been an act of God. So basically, you just underlyingly low key just told Jay Prince, "You my God. When I get baptized again, I want you to be there. So when I come out the water, I'm gonna have my hands out like, oh God, Jay Prince, bless me with the ability to use the business of boxing to duck and leverage and all the street shit that you involved in and everything that might be scaring some of these boxers. Please do me the same way you did Shakur with Teofimo Lopez, because Teo looked like he was gonna handle business and beat the shit out of him. But then when we get to that goddamn press conference and he said, yeah, but you've been to my house. He's like, yeah, I've been to your house. And you know what time it is. Oh shit, yeah, I do. I might have forgot that. Yeah, we good now. We good.
Then he go in there with his phalanges in his front pockets. And we like, what the fuck was that, Teo?
Yeah. You told us that once you get past his jab, he's nothing. And then you went out there and chose not to get past his jab.
And Shakur tell us, yeah, we seen him 1,000 times. I'm like, okay, Eureka. You seen this 1,000 times, so you already knew what was going on. And all Teo did was follow the script, but then he come out and say, oh no, well yeah, then he come out and say he pulled a Kovalev. Like when Kovalev said, yeah, it was a fixed fight, and then nobody wanted to believe him because of Teo.
Yeah.
Even though he was a roller coaster fighter. So
yeah.
That's the politics, man. But yeah.
And that's just gonna segue me into landing my plane and just saying this. Look, I haven't been the biggest Tank fan coming up in boxing, but I've always appreciated what he did in the ring. I had to respect him. You know what I'm saying? And my issues were mostly shit that was happening outside the ring. Then it came to a point where I was looking at what this young man was doing as being a guardian as well of 135 pounds, being a real 135-pound champion, being a guy that's saying, you know what? I pretty much cleared out this division, because what y'all tend to forget is when Loma, when all of these other fighters had these belts, I was fighting their mandatories.
Yep.
So who haven't I fought in this division that was coming up and didn't hand them their first O or add on to it? So when you look at that and you just step back, because a lot of people tend to view Tank like I brought back a while ago, like Stipple. And you're just seeing these little dots, and the closer you get, these dots have more space in between it, so you can plot and pick whatever negative point you want to talk about. But when you step back, you see some of those negative points add depth, add shadow, add texture, add light sources. And you say to yourself, oh, that's the picture. Oh, now I see the picture clearly. But as long as you choose to stay so close to it, you know, on a pixel level, you'll never be able to distinguish nothing. And all you'll do is just argue the tiny little points you see that are actually insignificant to the bigger picture. And this is the problem when it comes down to Tank, because this is what the Tank haters do. And then when you defend that thing, they want to call you Tankomaniacs and Tank everything. And it's like, look. I am not doing the Devin Haney or Shakur or Jerron Boots Ennis thing. I'm only defending the guy because your perception of what's really going on is so inaccurate that it's like the craziest narrative. You know, I'm looking for Treo and the fucking flying dragon shit because you're narrating the shit out of this story. So I'm like, come on, bro. This is like, yo, we're not dealing with the nothing. We're dealing with boxing. And when you're dealing with boxing, there's the business, the entertainment, and then the actual fight. Me, I like to deal with all of them as all of them being the Holy Trinity. They're all the same thing. The business of boxing dictates sometimes the level of entertainment you're going to get. That level of entertainment you're going to gives you high expectations for the actual fight. And it works backwards. The higher the expectation of the fight, the more entertained you expected to be, which then the business of boxing becomes more defined and clear. Everybody understands the assignment. The shit gets done. We don't hear about it. We don't hear about all the salacious, stupid shit. Everybody's more caught up in these fights that are about to happen and everything else because they want to be caught up in the Devin versus Shakur drama. The Real Housewives of boxing. That's what the fuck that is. I'm not tuning into Bravo. I'm not tuning into VH1 to watch the repeats. I'm not tuning into anybody that wants to do, you know, the Real Housewives of boxing after dark and then want to tune. I'm not tuning into none of that shit. I'm tuning into the things that's actually moving the sport. Tank has this jump off coming up. Hopefully, you know, Schofield understands the business of boxing. Him and his pops and understands this is one you cannot pull out from. You pull out from this, no one's going to give you an opportunity again. And if you do get the opportunity, it's going to be against people you may not want to fight, some old crafty veterans that have a lot of losses, but they know how to beat a young nigga ass. And that's pretty much where I'll land that plane. I'm happy Tank is back. I'm happy to see that back and forth between him and Shakur, because now, honestly, what people don't understand, Tank just lit boxing on fire on some real boxing shit, not some drama queen shit, not the Real Housewives of boxing shit. He just lit it up because this is a fight we've been talking about. And right now, that conversation looked like these two dudes are going to fight more than what I think Devin and Shakur is going to do in that glorified boxing match because there's money in it. Don't nobody want to see these two boring ass dudes who are going to pity pat each other all fucking day. Niggas ain't going to tune into that, man. That's And that's where I land my plane, bro.
Well, I appreciate you. Hey, the guy D1, I was over there last night, man. That's how I was watching it with a bunch of people, Crush and Cam, and there was a bunch of people over there, man. But when I get out of here, since the fights are going on, that's where I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So I told them drop the link, but like just look up the Angry White Man podcast. That's where I'm gonna go after I get off here. See, and if I get over there and you ain't over there, I'll send it to you because they be over there commenting, and it's like it's the same thing. It's like the backdrop where everybody back there talking about the fights and watching the fights and being able to talk about it. So that's where I'm going after I get away from here. All and right. Big Dre, subscribe to Big Dre. I don't know if Big Dre know this, but I'm in Baltimore too, Big Dre. You know what I'm saying? I'm from PG County. I grew up in Landover, Maryland. But I heard you. I heard you before, but I also heard you today, and I know that you're local and that you're working with amateurs and all that. And that's really what I really want to do and get into. So I support all of that, man. I appreciate what you're doing for the game too. But appreciate you, AC, man. I just wanted to do this short little snippet in between the fights. I didn't know it was gonna last this long, but I'm gonna get off of here and go watch these fights, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Salute, bro.
Stay on the zone tonight, or what's the fights on?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, got it. All right, on the next.
Bro. All right, man. Another good one in the books, y'all. This was impromptu. I didn't really plan to do nothing like this tonight. But excuse me, but when my man put out something relevant, I think that it's on it, because I just don't make up content and just do stuff. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have something relevancy, something that shows that we got some meat on the bone to work with. Even though I'm a Tank fan, I don't just, like, if you notice and you've seen my channel, or if you haven't, I'm not that kind of guy, man. As much as a bigger fan, like, because think about it, I would have starved with Tank, Earl, and Jamel being my favorite fighters in the activity they have. If I wasn't consistent in doing anything, I would have starved with what they had going on here lately. But we don't cater our channel. We don't cater the channel to just specific boxers. Just like the content we got coming tomorrow about the two guys we're going to talk about tomorrow. They're not the most popular guys, but it's going to be fire content. But we're always expanding, and we cater our channel to talking about things that's going to enhance the vitality of the sport. We're not going to be sensational. Silence is consent is the mantra of the channel, meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. So we speak to the things that need to be spoken to in the sport of boxing. And yes, a lot of the times, man, we'll say some uncomfortable things. It's ironic that I'm a Tank fan, he's a Devin Haney fan, but we balance each other's out. We might be talking about it. He'll say, "Oh no, I didn't look at it like this," and all, but that's balance, man. And that's key to the game. So we don't see everything eye to eye. He's not a yes man. I'm not a yes man. And the fact that we actually able to run this show is because we went head to head. We went real hard. Like, we was in there scrapping tooth and nail. And guess what happened? We both decided to click the link and be on the same channel the next day. And guess what happened? Bygones are bygones. And we moved on to talk about boxing the next time. And that's the mantra of how we do boxing. You know what I'm saying? We love and appreciate the sport of boxing more than we love and appreciate one single fighter. You know what I'm saying? When they say that the sum of all parts are greater than just one moving part, that's the energy in which we work with on this channel. You know what I'm saying? So one boxer is not bigger than any other game. But we're seeing that in Tank's absence. There's a lot of people that wanted Tank's spot. They didn't really want his spot. They wanted everything that came along with being in his spot. But now that they're in their spot, there's so many contradictions and hypocriticisms, if you allow me to make up a word, that it don't make no sense. And some of the part of the video that I read earlier is like, maybe that's an inkling that, like, Shakur realized that, man, like, the pressure of the masses, like the way they were putting on Tank, maybe he realized that, man, this shit get crazy. So the way he was actually coming at Tank and being all respectful was like, man, maybe he learned something from being in this spot. Who knows? Maybe he's playing politics. I don't know. He's a smart guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't shit on Shakur and say that he's not smart. I just think that he became somewhat of a media darling. I always call him the definition in my boxer to watch, and I call Tank the predator in my boxer to watch. And I always said that was my number one and that was my number two. That's how I came up with the Cold War. It's just that when Shakur started moving a different way, I said, man, I can't rock with the behavior. Just like Hitchens, one of my guys, I can't rock with the behavior. I love what Keyshawn was doing. I just could not rock with the behavior. You know what I'm saying? I try to keep the standard when it comes to all these boxers. And at the end of the day, since they get hit in the head, we want them all to make a living. We want them all to be able to go home to their families with all their faculties in order. We don't pick and choose when it come down to that. When it come down to them getting in the ring and them having to swing, yes. I don't like safety first fighters. You know, I know you got to do what you got to do to protect your medulla oblongata. But as a boxing fan, we want to see action. We all about that action, boss. So I like fighters that know how to render the judgment in their own hands with the ones and twos. It don't always happen, especially when the level of competition it rises and they're like this. It don't always happen. You know, we seen a fight last night to where a guy he went the distance for the first time. I seen people saying, "Oh no, you know, he needs to do this." I'm like, no, sometimes that happens. Like, you're not gonna knock out everybody else. But I do like people that like to inflict harm, who know how to make adjustments. And if it push come to shove, they're gonna take risks. They're gonna take challenges. I don't like fencers. I don't like people who just think about, oh man, you know, I ain't want to get hit. Like, no, I don't like scary fighters. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion. And I think I'm entitled to do that. But we love all these guys, man. We do a lot of videos about Abdullah Mason, Brian Norman, Oshaki Foster, David Benavidez, you know, Tito Mercado. Fighters like that. Why? Because if your favorite fighter model their behavior after those fighters, boxing is going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? If they model themselves after these other guys, boxing going to fall to the wayside. Hopefully you was able to put something in your rucksack and march on with it. This wasn't supposed to be a long, you know, drawn out dialogue, man. But I salute everybody part of the 300, everybody that come in and rock with me and show their love and support or say, hey, you know, that stopped by and said, you know, what's up? I appreciate you, man. Because at the end of the day, we're all boxing fans, man. And we want our sport to continue and thrive. We don't want it to fall by the wayside. Y'all know I could talk this boxing shit all day and all night, man. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm definitely not going to do that to you, man. But we're going to go watch these fights, man. I was hoping that the people will put their links in the chat, but I don't know if they popped out before I did it. But anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.